All right, here's the tutorial for Project 5. It is called Hybrid Celebrity. So what I have here is the two people I'm going to blend, Adam Sandler and David Spade. You can see what layers they are on right here. Um, Keep in mind that for a beginner tutorial, you want to keep the genders the same and the skin tones very similar. You also want to make sure that they're kind of facing the same direction so one person's face isn't tilted. And like if the picture's in different lighting, like they were outside or at nighttime, you might get different results too. So keep that in mind when you're picking out your pictures. The first thing I gotta do is I gotta line up their eyes and their mouth the best that I can. So I'm gonna do that by turning down the opacity on the top layer so that I can see both. And then on the top layer, I am going to pretty much manipulate this however I need to get it to line up. So I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to hold down shift when I resize, and I'm going to pretty much want a seamless transition so that when I raise the opacity back up and down, the eyes do not move. So let's just see what this looks like here. If I go down all the way and see Sandler and start to raise up, that's pretty close. It kind of looks like I should maybe slide it over just a little bit. The mouth is pretty good on this one, but you might have to adjust the height to get it right on and then readjust it. So once you have that, you can let it know you're done resizing. Turn the opacity all the way back up, and this is when the brand new tool is going to come in. If you have one like where it's just kind of a headshot and one is bigger, like a waist up or something, have the headshot be in the background layer. So when you cut it out, you have more to work with. So what I'm going to do is a brand new tool here. It is on the bottom of the layer panel. It is called a layer mask. The layer mask goes on the top layer, whichever one you have on top. When you click on it, your color should automatically turn black and white. If you are doing other things and you see that your colors are different, one of the big mistakes students make is that they're not on the layer mask when they're trying to work, and they're actually just brushing a color onto their person, which obviously you don't want to do. So make sure you're on the layer mask. You can tell you're on the layer mask. There's a little white bounding box that goes around it like that. So you can tell that. You can tell by the color that changes the black and white. And you want a brush tool. You want a soft brush. You turn the opacity down a little bit on it. And the concept behind this is black erases and white brings back. You can hit the little flippy bar here, for lack of a better term, to do that, or you can hit the hotkey X, and that will do it as well. So right now I have black, which is going to erase. I'll just kind of demonstrate without trying to blend. And white, which is going to bring back. So you can do that pretty much nonstop on there. Black is going to erase. And white is going to bring back. Now, if you look at their skin tones being a little bit different, David Spade being a little bit lighter, the picture was taken with a little more exposure. That's why I turned the opacity down on the brush to, around 50. And then when I click, it's not such a heavy transition, and I can kind of pick and kind of naturally fade out and blend so that the skin tones match a little better. And what I would start with is the eyes and the mouth for blending, and then whatever else you feel like you want to do. You don't want to go too much for just one person, and you also don't want to leave one of the features like half blended. So if I were to click a couple times on this nose, I'll try to give you an example. Something wasn't properly lined up, and you kind of went like that, and you just left it. See how it's not quite like one person's and not quite the other. So make sure you kind of fully commit to one feature when you're blending like that. From there, once you were done, and I'm not quite done yet, but I just want to go through the rest of the tutorial. You would merge these two layers together. So that is holding control and clicking on them, or shift, merging the layers. And then what you can do is cut out the person. So to cut out, I want you to use the third tool down, polygonal lasso tool. And the concept behind that, I'll show you kind of the beginner way, is to click. Every time you click, you make an anchor point and go around as close as you can. And then once you have an area, just kind of complete the circle. To complete it, you either got to click where you started or just double click. And you can delete and go around that way. It really, really helps to zoom in. When you do that, you can see some areas that I missed there just from not zooming in. And it also helps to have your feather right here on 2. We'll go more into like advanced cutouts. It's kind of just the example. So you kind of keep going around like that, picking out the areas you don't want, pressing delete. I will just go very, very quick here just to finish up the project. Once you have the person cut out, and again, I know it's not going to be a great cutout because I'm just trying to fly through it here. You can resize the person and put a background picture in. When you resize it, try to get it so there's not any like a floating head or like a cutoff here. It's been kind of hard on mine because of there was no arms, but even I can maybe go down a little farther like that. And you see how poor the cutout was when you're rushing and not zoomed in all the way. You'd want to put a background in there wherever, like a landmark or a place where they are. And then you want to name the person too with the text tool. So to name, usually you do like a combination. Adam and Dave could be Adam, and then Sandler and Spade. So Spanler, and I will make that black. Then with the background picture, you'd be ready to turn in then. Pretty easy. Feel free to do a couple of them to get the hang of it, and they can be pretty humorous, but also look pretty real when you get done.